Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic podcast. I have one of my favorite guests with me today. You know, every holiday I have on Breakaway Ray, and then I usually have on Missy Hill. And when Missy comes on, it's layers of deep research. Tonight we're going to be diving into the distortion of love, false union, matrix entrapment, and emotional purging. This isn't like surface level stuff. This is we're going to be talking about the brutal Valentine, dark origins, Vesica, Pisces, distortion, what is true union, Ouroboros cycles, year of the fire horse energy, Agape Love versus programmed attachment, no more gurus, Deepak, Chopra and the Epstein files, Ho'opono, Fishbowl World, can we get out of the matrix, predictions, and emotional purging versus shadow healing. And a little bit more about my guest. Missy Hill's a galactic paranormal historian, grid worker, conspiracy researcher. She's kind of a world traveler. She's been around all over the United States, at least. And she's like kind of like a boots on the ground researcher. Yeah. And with all that said, I'd like to give her a big warm welcome back to the show. And Missy, thanks very much for coming back on, and happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day and welcome to the dark side. We're going to be talking about the dark side of Valentine's Day, but I got to tell you, first of all, guess where I am heading next Friday?
Where?
I'm going down to North Palm Beach, which means I will not be far from Palm Beach. And I will probably again take a drive by Mar-a-Lago, and I'm going to go on that Margaritaville cruise, which goes down to the Keys, and hopefully we're going to go see a certain haunted doll when we're down there named after you.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Arthur was going crazy in the background, and today I'm working with my rose crystal skull. I figured today, and its name is Isis Rosita. I figured today is the perfect day to work with rose quartz, as well as drinking my own ceremonial peppermint. It's in a Starbucks cup, but it's cacao peppermint tea. And do you know what the difference is between cacao and cocoa? I put that in those hashtags too, but I think I spelled it wrong, because just in case people didn't know.
Well, cacao's the more raw form of chocolate. It has the antioxidants in it, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And cocoa has antioxidants, but not as, not a broad spectrum range. So it's not that cocoa is bad and cacao, is better in its raw state, but cocoa is more, is stronger for like if you want to cook with it, things like that. Like if you want to try to actually bake with it and all that kind of stuff. So, but this is cacao. So some people confuse it because it's cocoa is spelled different than cacao, but this is also heart opening. So the reason chocolate is so good for this time of year, it's to open and expand one's heart. But at the same time, I'm also using my black cat oil and my ninja spray and I'm working with the Vajra here, this Tibetan symbol, because the energy is absolutely insane, crazy. And the whole thing is, I think with them releasing these Epstein files at the time that they did was deliberate. It's actually predictive programming. One thing that was in the Epstein files was this. The thing is, I don't know what I'm seeing, if it's 100% true, because when we're looking at things online, we never know if it's true because everything is about clickbait. But one post I saw that I have not been able to check, but hopefully this person posts, and you may have seen it too. We know this person and other people that have posted this. One of the predictions was a Q post to do with Epstein Island from 2013. Did you see that? And all this stuff about,
I didn't see it.
Yeah, pizza and grape soda. Have you seen all the memes with pizza and grape soda?
I know what those mean because I've been researching it. Yeah, I knew what pizza was because of Pizzagate, and it sucks because I actually really enjoy the food pizza, and I like when I can get really good, I hate that this means that, you know what I mean? I really do. It's kind of, Yeah.
Another predictive programming was supposedly that Jeffrey Epstein said himself, whether or not this is true, was we had the superb owl, as Matthew likes to call it. I love that, last Sunday. And that was the day that it said, is World War III still supposed to start on February 8th of 2026? So I found that interesting. But we're going to circle back around to that because I want to talk about the debauchery and depravity of this holiday, that everybody feels they have to go out and spend lots of money on food that may or may not be healthy today. We were thinking of having spa treatments yesterday, but then I got a big fat no. I'm like, we'll do our own here. We'll do our own massages. You know, I've got chocolate and strawberries, and we went to the pool today. We'll sit in the hot tub tomorrow and go for a hike. Arthur, we took him for a little hike today, but it feels like a day to not be out around people, because being an empath, everybody their nervous system is on high alert, frazzled, even if they're not aware of it. It's just like, I don't know, people are coming unglued. It's just, the energy is totally chaotic. But this is a brutal Roman festival holiday, okay, called Lupercalia, which was all about sacrificing animals, usually dogs and goats. And what they would do was take the hides of these animals and they would decide to whip women with it, thinking that if they whip these women into shape, they're going to be more fertile, okay? And then, of course, there's the drunken orgy element. And then the Christian element was, Emperor Claudius decided that young men should not marry. So, because he needed them as warriors. So if they were single and they weren't, obsessed with women, or they didn't have someone special in their life, they would make a better warrior. But Saint Valentine was actually a saint that married couples in secret during this time, and he was executed for doing this. So you can see that this is not a great holiday that we celebrate, but it was popularized through Shakespeare and Chaucer. But what I've noticed for years, that they always do the Super Bowl very close to Valentine's Day. Like Groundhog Day, which is Imbolc, is all about the shadow. And, how many more days of winter do we have? We have at least, 3 more weeks of true winter, and then another 3 weeks before the cross quarter day of the vernal or spring equinox, okay, which actually the energies around the equinox seem to be the most benevolent around that time that I've noticed. At least a few years back they did. I don't think about now. Everything's changing so much now as magnetic north tends to be shifting more. This whole thing with how we line up to Polaris, the grids are off. As you know, I listened to the show with you and Indy, pretty much most of it, a little bit with Breakaway Ray. So I'm going to try to address some of those things you guys talked about too, if I can remember. But, a lot of these holidays are all about martyrdom. It's always been about sacrifice, either of animals, children, humans, to Moloch, to Baal, which is different idols that connect with, different draconian and Anunnaki beings, or you can call them Borgia, from, we said go back to the Emerald Covenant, all of Thoth, and all this kind of stuff. It goes way back. So every one of these holidays that we celebrate seems to have some kind of dark origin of collective ritual for collecting Loosh energy on the energetic level. Like right now, the astral is, I think the 3D realm is almost like being upgraded to like almost the astral. People were saying we're going to a 5D Earth. I don't think that's exactly true. We had the 5D ascension, and, we're supposed to have a 12D ascension, right, and beyond. But what has happened since 5G and since what they're doing with the electrification of these grids, they're making a blurred line between the dream state, the astral realm, and the 3D realm, which is almost like, I heard another person say, they called it like the 3.5 realm. Like we're almost we're not in 3D land, we're in 3D 3.5 now. So it's like the game has gone up, like when Windows comes out with a new thing, or every iPhone, you get a new, what is it on the iPhone 16 now? I don't know, but this technology, it keeps going up. So there's an interface, and that's why Mall World and all these worlds, the one that came to me today is Fish World. I've been thinking about Fish World, about how we're in an aquarium, because I have a fish over here named Atlantis, and he is in an aquarium. He is thriving in his aquarium. He doesn't know he's in an aquarium, but when I went to the ELC today, the Educational Learning Center on Edisto Island here, part of the state park, they have an aquarium, and there was a black drum is the name of the fish, and it was sort of like it's in the family of a sheep's head. But this fish was beautiful. It was a black fish with these eyes that almost looked human and cat-like. It looked like a cross between a human and a cat and a dragon, I'm telling you. It kind of reminded me of like that dragon in How to Train Your Dragon, the way this cat fish look. I mean, it wasn't a catfish, but it looked like it was a fish or a cat that was trapped in a fish's body, because in a way its spirit was reminding of me of my cat Freya that passed away Easter of 2024. And I started to feel very sad for this fish because it was in this aquarium. It was very restless. It was not getting along with the other fish that it was with, which was like mullet, and it was just swimming back and forth. And I was going to try to get a picture of this fish, but there was way too much reflection, and I just started feeling sad. And then when I went to the pool today, it was great to be in the pool. I'd started listening to you guys, but then I wanted to go for a swim. It is a mostly salt pool with a tiny bit of chlorine, but I started really feeling sad for humanity. It was almost like feeling like this deep sadness of no hope because of the shadow healing that has to be on. It's like, on this 3.5 and the mental realm, we have the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, and different spiritual bodies, different layers, the astral body, all these different ways and terminology of being able to explain our multidimensionality. That's a very basic way of saying it, because you have different brains too. Like, your stomach has a brain. Okay. You have the heart brain, all these different things. It's people are very much in the reactive body. And I will address, there was something you guys were talking about that people need to grieve for the victims of what happened to the victims. But the thing is people, I feel, are going to be angry and want justice for the perpetrators way before they tap into feeling sadness, grief. I mean, they're still feeling sadness and grief. I'm feeling it big time, feeling it for them, feeling it for me, feeling it for the collective, just feeling all that range of emotions. But the reason I feel that they're going to tap into the anger first, because that's what gets the energy moving, because they're in the fact of, they're going to go into PTSD, that they can't actually believe that they're doomed. And I really feel this is part of this Vesica Pisces harness. So if you want to know what the Vesica Pisces or Pisces is, in the middle, it actually looks like a fish. It's a circle and another circle, and where those two circles overlap actually looks like a womb gate or a vaginal opening. So there's only part of the time when those consciousnesses are actually in union with each other. because they're really not in union. They're spinning out. This is spinning and this is spinning, and then they meet at a certain time, sort of like the Mobius strip, and the other one is the Ouroboros, which is the snake that bites its tail. It's like eating itself, self-perpetuating, sort of like this thing that we're in, where it's cycles of death and rebirth and regeneration. But at times, it almost feels like it's very rare that something new can come in. We think we're getting something new, but are we just repeating the same thing over and over again? And to me, we know 9/11 was a planned event. We know the jab thing was a planned event. I feel this was a planned event at this time, to release this at this time, where they planned this years in advance, and that Jeff, I don't want to even say the names too much, was actually an operative, CIA, Mossad, whatever. They put him in place. It's not that just that he had money and all this stuff from Palm Beach. He was put there because they knew eventually he would be the fall guy, because even if he's alive, is he dead? Is he alive? Some people think he's dead. Some people think he's alive. I happen to think he's alive and is probably in Israel. I mean, I don't know for sure. I think you, Rob, you feel that too, right?
Yeah, from the pictures I saw, yeah, that's what it looked like. It looked like he is,
so,
yeah.
But
there was someone spotted him in Lebanon and Israel, both countries. They saw him in both, and I said, oh my God, I said, God knows what he's doing over there. You know what I mean? He's probably got a human shop open over there. You know what I mean? I'm not being graphic, but this guy's from what we're finding out, this guy's a really sick psychopath. You know what I mean? So to let him run loose on the planet somewhere is just like, but this is the people that we're dealing with, that run the world,
right. So now I lost my train of thought, but I think he was put in place, and if he is wherever he is, it's sort of like Osama bin Laden was buried at sea long before he was dead. And I think they said that, who's the other one that thought he was Nebuchadnezzar? I can't think of his name right now.
Saddam Hussein,
when he was still alive. So these people, they say they're dead and they may not be dead. They go into a witness protection program. They change their identity. Sometimes they have facial structure changes. They also have clones. We know the Clintons, especially Hillary, they have a lot of clones, and some of their clones are, they don't do well. So the fact that they do this between the Super Bowl and Valentine's Day, knowing that this is a day that the masculine and feminine are supposed to have union, because Saint Valentine was a proponent of sacred marriage. He wanted the sanctity of marriage and the family, and of course he was sacrificed because of that. So you see how that works. And basically Valentine's Day, and some of it, they also have lotteries where they put women's name in a hat and they pull the name out of a hat, and it would be like a lottery, and then the men could be with the women, whether they wanted to be with them or not, I guess. Maybe some wanted to be, but to me, it sounds a lot like forced breeder programs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Yeah. I don't even know what to say to that. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. We had some, just going through the audience here.
These things and unawareness, like I've always picked on Thanksgiving is one of my favorite ones to pick on, with the turkey and the thing of Abraham Lincoln. But with this, instead of bringing union to a relationship, we already know that the Super Bowl, I don't know about this time. I'll tell you what, I quit watching these halftime shows to break them down, because the last one I watched was when Beyonce did it, and that was like more than 10 years ago. And when I watched it, I remembered the power went off, and she was doing all this sexual, distorted stuff, you know, with their hands, like over her private area. And it's like, I just got to the point, you know what? I don't want to break down these rituals anymore. I didn't watch the Olympics ritual this time to decode it. I know it was that Bad Bunny dude, and I know he's Puerto Rican, so I find that interesting because we're talking about Puerto Rico and the Puerto Rican trench. Well, you know, I went down to Puerto Rico with Joshua P. Warren, and I went to Laguna Cartagena, which is the UFO lagoon. I went to San Cristobal and to the point of the Bermuda Triangle called La Garita del Diablo, where iguanas were there and told me about the goddess Inanna, that was an Anunnaki goddess that was not in favor of what Enki and Enlil were doing because she was still part of the divine feminine. It was like she was being held captive. So, and I was shown at that time the plasma that what has happened there, it's like it's feminine in nature, these triangle womb gates, and they weaponized it, they reversed it, it's reverse plasma, and it's very much like the energy of Pele, which is the volcanic goddess. And they say that if you take like the volcanic rock from Hawaii, you can be cursed if you don't ask permission, things like this. So it doesn't surprise me. East of there, I've also been, when I worked on the conspiracy, well, not the conspiracy cruise. That was the one I was on with Laura Eisenhower, but I was on Cruise into Spirit and some of these other cruises, and I can't remember which one, but there happened to be it was the one that I went to St. Thomas and St. Croix, which was absolutely beautiful. So there is an organic energy stream there of like, almost like saltwater crystal river energy running through there. But there was a storm around that time, and the captain said, you know, we have to stay closer to the land. So we actually were near Gitmo when I ended up doing a UFO sky watch, and I saw some kind of craft give birth to like 3 other craft. It was like some kind of UFO craft, but it wasn't really a UFO. I'm sure it was military because the way how strategic and clean the lines, it was just different than any, I think it was military because I think we have that technology. So yeah, you know, there's all kinds of stuff going on, you know, just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and one thing that I thought that was like Indy talked about, you talked about, is that that they have those USOs down there. So it makes me think that there's definitely some kind of well, you know, right.
In Laguna Cartagena, we saw stuff coming out of the water. We didn't get great pictures, but we saw these weird lights under the water at the UFO lagoon, which is near some military installation there. And also I happened to see it a little bit, but mostly the people that I was with saw it more, because when I'm with the night vision, I'm kind of like mother hen with my night vision, and I'm more worried about if people drop that equipment. It's very expensive, and you can't look at artificial lights. So when I happened to go down to that Atlantis Rising conference that was actually put on by Greg Prescott from N5D, and at that time Laura Eisenhower was there, Lisa Renee was there, I had some people, Andrew Bartis was there. I was doing night vision with people there, and they saw this weird stuff coming out of the water.
Wow. Yeah. And what was it? Yeah.
In the ocean, which is, you know, Stargate 2, which now has actually been hijacked, I would say, you know, and temporarily moved over to Mar-a-Lago. I will take another drive by there and see what I think again, because I remember when I went down there last year, the first place I had to go for Ron's family is I had to go to the South Florida Fair. Not our choice of a place to go, but they wanted to go. And when I went there, it actually felt, Rob, I can't see your face. Are you looking down?
Oh. No, I was checking the chat because I can't see it for some reason on my screen here.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Say hi to everybody in the chat. So when I was actually at the South Florida Fair, what it felt like is not only a concrete jungle. Oh, and on my way there, I think I told you this, I actually saw Air Force One. So I thought that was interesting. But it felt like they were taking the energy of all the people and sticking it into the asphalt and powering up the grids with people's energy. Like, people literally were the battery. I do want to speak to this too. When I was in Fort Lauderdale years ago, I was with my friend Christy. I was staying at some hotel and I fell asleep and I went into a dream realm where I saw these underwater cavern things with crystals, like these city things under the water. And sometimes, and I saw like things in the water that look like the way people live in the Maldives, like these roundhouses. And we live in a roundhouse, which is a Deltec here, but like these roundhouses on stilts that were in the water, and that people had a technology. I mean, I still remember this dream of when you were walking, you had legs, and when you were going underwater, you had a tail, and you could be like a mermaid. Okay, so there was that whole piece going on. Okay, but when you guys were talking about these underwater cities, and I'm gonna have to listen to Renetta again, it reminded me of the movie Aquaman, if you ever saw that. And Aquaman's name was played by Jason Momoa. His name was Arthur, like King Arthur, and it was like King of Atlantis under the water.
Wow. He was okay. That's interesting. Like,
Remember that?
I've never saw that movie. I've never saw that. Like, but they have to. It seems like they tell us, right? Like what they're, like they do disclosure through movies, so that would make sense, right?
Always do, yeah. Somebody wants to say hi here. Here he is.
Hey, Arthur. Oh, he's adorable.
He is adorable. He is so hyper today, though. I don't know what is going on with him. He's extremely hyper.
Do you think it's because of something that's going on, like, like in the world or something like that? Do you think he's reacting to that?
Maybe. I feel my inner bitch has come out, and I'm proud of it. My inner bitch is fuming mad. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That's Network. George Norrie always quotes, that's like one of his favorite movies, like They Live, I think is another one, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But what I mean by that is the extremes, the polarization of the range of what I feel of emotions, that I can feel this anger, and then I can feel, the sadness, the grief, the joy, the all the range of emotions. And we have to play somewhere in the middle, because our higher self and our soul and, our monadic selves, avatar, this is just a suit. This is just a role that we're playing. So it's like looking at these polar extremes and feeling what they have that we need to use, because you know what? There's such a thing as like not just eros love, which is romantic love, or agape love, which is like universal love, and then you have the philia, the love of friends and family and things like that. I like to say there's tough love, because sometimes somebody needs a swift kick in the ass to get it, to
Absolutely.
wake the fuck up, right?
Yeah.
And I've been pondering this thing, because there's the chant that's like, love, 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 sons and daughters of light, this is your call. Love your neighbor as yourself, for God loves us all. And we're sitting here pondering this chant, and like, what does it mean to love your neighbor as yourself? Because Ron and I had a discussion about this, and he's like, I don't agree with that. And I'm like, well, I don't think it means what you think it means. I think in those times they might have said, like Jesus said, love the Lord your God with your whole heart and love your neighbor as yourself. But to me, it means do no harm. Doesn't mean you have to like them. Your personality doesn't have to like any of these people, but love would be, how would you want to be treated? The way that you would want to be treated is the way that you should treat somebody. Unless they've wronged you, then you may have to do something else. You may have to get up, stand up for your rights. Don't give up the fight. You might have to do something like that if they've wronged you. But for the most part, I would say do no harm, right? You don't instigate harm. You draw your line in the sand. You have a clear boundary and say, live and let live. Don't hurt somebody else. As long as it doesn't hurt me or children, you can do what you want. But it's gotten so out of balance. So there's no prayer that ho'oponopono, which is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And we're like, well, what does that mean? What do you think that means, Rob? I'm ho'oponopono. And some people pray that and they get results like of well-being, and they feel better. And I don't want to say,
it's an ancient Hawaiian thing, right? It's an ancient, I know it's ancient Hawaiian, right? Correct?
I think it's now. I can't remember for some reason if it's Hawaiian or Japanese. I think you're right. I think it's. I can't remember. I have to look that up. It just escapes me. I mean, I know
it's Hawaiian. It's that, yeah.
But I was pondering, and I know what it means. Look that up, Rob, if you can. I can't look it up just to make sure, because I forgot to fact check where that was, but I've been thinking about it, and sometimes I will say it. Sometimes these chants come to me and I say them and I say, okay, I'm sorry. What does that mean? Well, I'm sorry for the whole human race. I'm sorry if I did something wrong. I'm sorry if somebody else wronged me. I'm sorry for the human race. Please forgive all of us. That's like the thing, like, please forgive us our trespasses, as those that trespass against us. I love you and thank you that the prayer's been answered. But, what does it really mean? I mean, how do we?
Oh, sorry. I looked it up. It says Ho'opono is the ancient Hawaiian practice of reconciliation, forgiveness, and healing. It says translating to make right or correct an error. It involves taking 100% responsibility for one's reality and experiences. That's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. Because we're part of the human race, so we agreed to come here on some level, even if it was hijacked and all this stuff. So we're trying to figure out, how do we go back, especially now when you see, the other interesting thing is I was at an event in Florida years ago, and I actually met Deepak Chopra. I met him.
Wow. What was he like when you met him? Like, was he
tiny, little, small man, not that tall. So, and he was a good writer. I thought I had some of his books, but I got rid of them, like that 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. But obviously this guy did not embody his work, and he ran with the same crowd as John of God, who I knew was a fake, and Oprah. It didn't surprise me when Oprah was, when she was supporting Obama, I knew that she was no good. I just knew, Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised she's not in the Epstein files,
She is. I've seen that people say she is. See, the thing is, I tried to download those from the Department of Justice, but I couldn't. It was too much stuff for me to download, so I was like, I didn't do it. I've just been looking at all the other stuff people post, so I don't know what's true and what isn't. But regardless of whether it's embellished on social media, it is making all of us think and look at all this stuff deeply, that you first of all, you can't trust anything you see online. And you just can't trust anybody. Don't believe a word I say either. Don't believe me. I don't want to be a guru, that's for sure. I no gurus. Be your own guru. Don't follow these people, because it's all about show me the money with them and the power, because it's sick. What was the thing about Chopra? Like something about bring your girls, something about God is a construct, but cute girls are real. That was the comment that was made, something like that. Did you see that, Rob?
No, I didn't see it. Is that what he said for real?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God, that's actually oh God, he seems like a real creep.
They're sick. They're not even people. These people are not people. They've been taken over by something. They're in a human suit, but what's running them at this point is non-human.
It's like demonic. Yeah. It's like demonic. Yeah.
It is totally demonic. Totally demonic.
And it makes you wonder if some people get in these positions to do this. So that's the whole reason they do this, so they can manipulate people and, do these lewd sex acts and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It makes you think, was this their whole reason for trying to get power, so they could corrupt,
Well, like that whole stuff with Gilgamesh and all that. Yeah, it's just, yeah. And Gilgamesh was all about the flood. That's what the flood of Gilgamesh, which is like Noah's flood. So,
yeah.
I almost think when you guys were talking about these underwater cities and why they're doing this, I think they're trying to power up Atlantis. They're trying to shift that timeline, because if you look at our harmonic universes, all time is happening at once. Harmonic universe 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's like band frequencies. So if they can get us out of a certain frequency band, even if they're using negative energy to do it, they bump us up where they go into the next harmonic universe, and then maybe they're back in back or forward in time. It depends on how you're looking at it, whether Atlantis it's the past, but it might also be the future, because there is no time. Not really.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like they're trying to do to me. They're trying to power something up to move our station of identity holographically, because we don't physically go anywhere. This is a holographic construct that we're in. We don't actually go anywhere. It's in a different rotational spin, a different angular rotation and particle spin in the same place. Does that make sense?
So we just go to another dimension, basically, when we leave.
Yeah, it's another dimension,
and then we come back into this dimension when we choose to, I guess. But
black hole technology, it's wormhole technology, different angular rotation and particle spin to get you to a different space-time continuum. That's what I think.
That makes
sense.
What are
people saying in the chat? What are people saying in the chat about it?
Erin says she likes Ho'oponopono with the hand drums. She says it's really relaxing. Like Eric Pearson says he loves Ho'oponopono. Let me see here. Timbo says when the Dalai Lama told the little boy to this is a pretty bad comment. This is when Timbo says when the Dalai Lama told the little boy to suck his tongue right in front of everyone, I said, "Yo, let that be my son," and it's over for Mr. Dalai Lama. Yeah, I
remember that.
Yeah,
I think the Dalai Lama has been hijacked. I think there was a real Dalai Lama, but I don't think that's the one now.
Man, it's almost like a bunch of humans in human costume,
Yeah. Well, this came to me too, that, all the world's a stage and we are merely players, right? Like Shakespeare said. So what if all the ones that are in control of religion, politics, the medical matrix, the law and justice system, entertainment, everything pretty much, they are our dark overlords, like Led Zeppelin said, they're the dark ones, and they're playing the light beings. They're actually dark, but they're pretending like an actor to be of the light. And they're doing a good job, but now they're exposing themselves because that's what they actually have to do at the end of the time cycle. The end of this time cycle thing that we're in, people have to see for what they are if they can. So at this point, they have to start to demask themselves so people can see what they are.
Yeah.
I
agree. This is Eric Pearson or Eric. Yeah, he says an interesting St. Valentine's Day massacre occurred at Union Station in KC, Missouri. I'm just going through some of the comments. There's a lot of comments now. We got a lot of people in the audience. Like, California Girl says, "Yay, Arthur!" When this is before when Arthur came up, and Colleen Ryer says she loves she says hi to Arthur. They all love Arthur. I guess Iron Bear's at the Cheesecake Factory. He says, "Holy shit, Cheesecake Factory, busier than hell, but it's worth it though. I hope you get something good." And then there was a big talk about marijuana in the chat, and that's about everything so far. So kind of all over the place. But I mean, interesting for say the least. Yeah. What about the Ouroboros? What's that? We were going to talk about that. What is that all about?
It's I also had a little snake thing that I wanted to show you. It was like a stuffed animal, but it disappeared. It's the snake biting its tail. It's that symbol that the snake bites its tail, and it's used like in astrology and things like that. So it's sort of like this Vesica Pisces, and I did cover it some, saying where it's supposed to regenerate itself, but it's basically recycled energy. Like everything in this realm is recycling.
Yeah.
Sort of like in the Truman Show, or like the rain comes down, it rains, and then it goes to the water, and then it's sucked back up into the atmosphere, and it comes back down again. Everything is like recycled here. Yeah, it's regenerated, but it's still a recycling system. So it's infinity, but in that infinity loop is anything new coming in. So you have that bi-wave, like I told you about, that Vesica Pisces or the Mobius strip, but the better, higher symbolism or consciousness is more like that Triveca or that tri-wave, which is like the two become three, become one. And it comes out from the oneness as two, masculine, feminine. It births the child, and then that makes a whole thing again. But I don't know. It's like today I was feeling, not to feel dark and depressed, but I was thinking, like, are we ever really going to get out of the matrix? I mean, how do we actually get out of here?
I don't think we do.
How do we collapse this? And with this Epstein stuff, to me, this is planned, and not to be negative. It's disclosure for those that will wake up, but unless they collapse everything, which I don't. I mean, Pam Bondi said what? Like the whole system. So I forget how to quote what she said, that we can't name everybody because if we did, the whole thing would collapse. And people are saying, well, collapse it then. But then, like I've said, and you guys said today, what do you replace it with? Is this anything but a Loosh harvesting ritual? I don't know. I don't think it is anything but that. I don't want to say, huh?
I lost the remote to my light. I usually can turn my light on. I don't know where it is. Here it is. I got it. There we go. Sorry about that.
Is anything really going to be disclosed, or is this just another magic trick thing where, they say a few names, there's a few patsies to appease us, but it was really just to get everybody in an uproar, which is problem, reaction, solution, like David Icke said, where they're not going to disclose anything, not really, and then people are going to forget about this thing, and then it'll be on to the next thing. That seems to be what the game is here. But there'll be more people that wake up from it. It always wakes more of the populace up, but I don't necessarily think this is the event. Like people are waiting for an event. They could use it as something to bring in, because if they collapse it, that is their way of doing the global reset, is what I think. If they collapse it.
Maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Maybe that's their next plan. Like, to think they're giving us something like that, but then maybe it's just something that they're trying to do. Because usually when these people, like these controllers, do something, like it's multifaceted. You know what I mean? And this could be so evil that
they plan this way in advance, and they don't give unless they take away. Like what do they do? During Franklin D. Roosevelt, I think it was, they take their gold away and they give them Social Security or something. You have to fact check that because I can't remember. But there was a time when their gold was taken, like turn in your gold, but you always get less. You're giving up more than what you're getting. So, you're not really getting anything, in my opinion. Except entertained by their disgustingness, how vile of creatures they are. That's what you're getting. People get to finally see that you can't make this up, that the people with the tinfoil hats were right. That's what you get to see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I don't think some of the normies want to realize like how bad the Epstein files are. You know what I mean? They don't want to realize how deep they go, that they go into like deep Satanism and Luciferian shit. You know what I mean? And that these people are actually like vampires. They're drinking blood and eating blood, and you know what I mean? They're doing the worst of the worst stuff. Like it's like, it's almost unbelievable in a way.
I know what I wanted to speak to. I hope this doesn't get me in trouble for saying this, but when you had Matthew on and you showed the P. Diddy, the videos, and he was paying that guy, $10,000 for, what he was paying him for. And I was thinking, I'm not going to say what it was he was paying. I'm thinking, the whole thing's awful, but he was agreed to that and he got $10,000. The medical system doesn't pay anything. What, they pay $40 for it? And I'm thinking, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're allowed to say, we're talking about the video where the kid said he was P. Diddy's blood boy, and P. Diddy would take him on his yacht and he would take him out to the sea and literally just drain some of his blood, and he'd pay him for it. And then they showed a picture of what P. Diddy looked like 4 years later, and he looked like regeneratively renewed, Like it was insane. And when I heard this, I was like, what kind of people are we dealing with here? You know what I mean? This is absolutely insane. I don't know.
The medical matrix, though, what symbol do they wear?
They've
got
the caduceus,
right? The caduceus, yeah. So there you have it, right?
Wow.
If what system collapsed first, would we really? Oh, Ron thought maybe one day when all this Epstein stuff is over, like, they wanted to make a theme park out of Alcatraz. They'll probably make a theme park. They'll build a casino on Epstein Island, and everybody can go do the water slides and everything there, and go take a tour of that horrible place.
Oh my God! I mean, I can't. I think I said this during the show with Indy. I said I can't even imagine how many people are buried there. You know, I mean, he has a Zorro Ranch or whatever, and they found two women buried. Also told Indy, they found two women buried near Epstein's Zorro Ranch, and when I asked Psychic Liz Crosses, she said they're going to find more. And I said, oh God, here we go.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, like, this is like, you know, this is next level, like psychopath stuff, you know? And then you can watch an interview with Jeffrey Epstein where he's sitting there talking to Steve Bannon about the economy and all this, you know, normal stuff. And he tries to come off so normal, but behind the scenes, he's like a serial killer almost, you know?
Because there's also MK Ultra where they have ultras. I actually think the reason they're able to behave so normal is because they are so split out from trauma-based mind control themselves that they were made into this. I feel this totally connects in with Montauk too.
Yeah.
This, like, Montauk was part of creating this. The Philadelphia experiment is connected into this. Hiroshima and Nagasaki is tied into this. I think Fukushima is, I mean, all these disasters and all these events on different grids and different ley lines, they all connect and they feed these different structures of where, and don't forget, like as Indy calls it, the hairy systems, you know, those high auroral altitude things that bombard the ionosphere that are in many different places, as well as like CERN, these particle accelerators and these quantum computers. It's all about powering up something, and they use the energy, you know, the physical energy, the emotional energy, the mental energy, and it doesn't matter whether the energy is positive or negative. They don't care. Interdimensionals don't care about that. But it seems to be that negative energy and fear has the most energy, and that's why they use like the fear, the anger, the rage, the torture, the PTSD type of energy. Where the nervous system, because it affects the nervous system in such a way that it's in the, instead of the parasympathetic and autonomic relaxing part of the nervous system, it's the nervous system that's in that fight or flight, like when an animal that's a predator goes and kills the prey.
Yeah. Yeah, I listened to an interview with David Icke, and he was trying to explain it from his point of view. He was saying that, you know, basically something like that, like, you know, these beings or these people, whatever they are, I don't even know if we can call them people, are at a lower vibration. So when they do this like satanic stuff, that it has to be for a lower vibration for them to take in the energy, and that's what they want, the energy. So it has to be like an energetic match. So they have to torture the person and put fear in them so they get that lower vibrational energy. And then he said there's something with children that, like, you know, before the age of puberty, that, like, you know, like with the energy with these people, you know, it's like, it's really sick to say this stuff, but I mean, he was on Redacted the other day, and I watched an interview, and, you know, I always like David Icke. I mean, like, I know he's kind of calling out everybody right now, but I mean, at the same time, you know, I mean, I think he has every right to call out everybody, you know, like, I mean, you know, I don't know, but I mean, like, you know, I don't think everybody's guilty, but at the same time, you know, I see where he's coming from, you know. He's kind of has that mentality, like, let's tear the whole system down and let's start over, you know.
Well, you know why they do that too? This is the other thing that's coming to me. So if they want this in a lower, I don't know if you call it vibration or frequency band. I don't know, but I can't describe exactly what I see because it's kind of both. It's to do with the spin rates and how things move to, if you bring it down a level, it connects more with this. The crystalline grid, and what they want to do is they want that energy into the grids because it's a blood sacrifice that feeds like that 33rd parallel, and it causes hauntings in the grids, kind of like when I've talked about the ghost ships and how there's phantomal energy where like it's a groove stuck in a record where the thing will play over and over again. That's like when you go to Gettysburg and you see people have gotten on camera, these ghosts of the Civil War walking because there was so much bloodshed and trauma that actually locks itself as a memory into the memory bank, into the memory field, into the earth grids. Until, you know, somebody clears it. But then if you say it's like you build something, it gets disturbed. Like I'll tell you, like I can tell you this, anytime you go to a house that is haunted, you know, and say you clean it up, but then you want to make changes to that house, even if there's been no paranormal activity, there's something about when you make changes to the structure, it reactivates that paranormal activity that was in. I mean, my husband experienced this when my grandmother was in this nursing home, like these attacks from like they were working on the building, scaffolding, and people die in those places and they don't necessarily move on. So we start you might not feel it when everything's normal and painted, but when they start ripping walls out, then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, you go in the bathroom and water spigots that aren't supposed to turn on will turn on by themselves. And there's people, you feel like you're bumping against people and you feel like you might be having a heart attack, all this weird kind of stuff. See, that's the stuff they want to actually create in the grids. That's why they're doing it.
That's a good point. Like,
because that way they can raise that, change that angular rotation and particle spin holographically to put us into another reality, to possibly power up the data collection centers that connect with, you know, smart cities. I think it's all connected. I think the Loosh harvesting connects in with the data centers, connects in with the smart cities, connects in with the gold, maybe the Golden Dome. I don't think any of this stuff is positive, really. I don't even think the med beds, I don't believe it. I think med beds and what they say is med beds, because Tesla owns that. I mean, it might heal you to a point, but I think that's negative alien tech. Some people might disagree with me, but I don't think it's coming from the good guys. I don't think any of this secret space program stuff is coming from the good guys. What is it they're saying?
Yeah, this is from Maya. She says it's a magic trick showing us all in the open, making us feel hopeless, as if nothing will happen anyway. No consequences for the bad guys.
That's right. You know? Exactly. Well said. That's it. Hate to say it. With that, I can pull some cards if anybody wants to. Let's pull.
Yeah, if anybody wants a reading, you know, let us know, and we'll get you a reading. And let's see here.
Not to be negative, Rob. I didn't want to be negative. I wanted to have some fun, but it's depressing. I think eventually things will change, but I don't think it's going to happen like people think. They've been waiting for, you know, disclosure and the global reset and all this stuff. I don't think they think they think it's going to be, because if you turn in your gold again, you know, you're not going to get whatever for. Oh, the other thing I heard too is I heard that Bitcoin, I don't know if this is true or not, somebody look this up, was Bitcoin created by Epstein? Did you hear that?
I didn't hear that, but I wouldn't be. I mean, I don't. Wait, I don't know. That's
look that up.
I think Bitcoin. Yeah,
I saw it online, but that doesn't mean it's true, because, like I said, most of what you look at online probably isn't true. The other thing I wanted to speak to too was about that guy reclaiming the woman's eggs for stem cells. I think the way they showed us that, it happens more that way, like the P. Diddy way, maybe, and that way more than the other way of rituals. I think the rituals happen too, but more of it's happening the other way, where the where the celebrities might be brainwashed. They don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. I think they have to get high enough up and hijacked enough to figure out what they're doing and why.
It says it says that's a fake. It says here are the facts regarding Epstein and Bitcoin. It says fabricated evidence. Says the viral email, which reports to be a 2008, mentions little digital gold mine, is fake. It says it contains formatting errors and uses an email address not found on the Department of Justice. So I think it's not. I don't know, but I mean, who knows? It could be real. Like it could. I mean, we never know what's real and what's who know. I wouldn't put it past them. Honestly, like I really wouldn't. Like,
yeah, that's what
chat's not coming up on my phone. Let me see here. I've been having problems with that. I gotta clear out my phone and my computer both. I gotta make some room. I think that's why everything's running slow. Aaron says Missy is pretty awesome. Would anybody like a reading, guys?
Thank you.
Aaron says she'll like a reading.
I found my little snake. Okay, here's my stuffed animal. The snake biting its tail. Here it is. See this?
Yeah.
Also the figure 8 loop, too. That almost looks like a figure 8, doesn't it? Like this. Look.
Yeah.
Oh, the fire horse. So we're coming out of the year of the wood snake, and we're having the fire horse, which happens, I think, every 60 years or something like that. And this is like about, I think it's about getting moving. I wrote some things about it, but what did I say about it now? Associated with intense energy, high intelligence, charisma, and stubbornness. And that happens on February 17th, which people are resurfacing and talking about Q again, which, I don't know what to think. If, do people think Q is a psyop? Now, 3 of crystals, this is a harmonious card. This is what we kind of want. The harmony, which is, remember I was talking about the triquatra, the triveca, which is more the 2 become 3 become 1 energy.
Yeah.
Father, mother, child, which is electron, proton, neutron. Finding the middle way between the light and the dark, the middle way between the extremes. Because one thing we can know for certain, according to Hermetic laws, the swing to the left of the pendulum is equal to the swing of the right. And they always talk about as above, so below. So you have these different laws, like you have the law of masculine and feminine, you have the law of temperature, you have the law of light and dark, and we want to find the middle way. But once it gets to the middle, it's going to start doing this again. I think we're just in the realm of that is what we're in, but we want to have as much balance as we can, because it feels better to be in balance and not be in the extremes, because like the perfect pH is like what in your body, it's like 7.2, something
7,
like that.
Yeah, it's 7. Yeah, pretty for sure. Yeah.
And energetic synthesis is sort of like and synthesizing these energies is kind of like, we're here to blend all these races together and to find the middle way of how we can all get along. But we can't all get along if, when we have these sort of beings that are like totally hijacking us.
Absolutely. I agree. Let me see here. Oh, Aaron wanted to read. Okay. Where did it go?
Which is overriding the false king of tyranny. Did anybody want me to pull cards for them? I'm just pulling them. So
yeah, Aaron. But let me see here. Okay, here she goes. I'm putting it up here. Aaron says, "I'll take a reading." Oh, what happened? Missy, did I just?
What happened? Hello, Rob. Where are you? Am I in the show without you, Rob? Am I in the show?
Here. I don't know what happened. It's not showing my camera. It's just there we go. Okay.
Well, this one's.
I hit the wrong.
I'm doing this deck, which is called the Inner Child cards. Okay, can you see this?
Yeah.
This person got the Wizard, which instead of the Hierophant, it'd be the Hierophant, but because it's a different energy signature, it changes. So to me, this is almost like embracing your own version of Merlin or Gandalf or Dumbledore, okay? Like that positive, what you would represent as positive, fatherly, magical grandfather type of energy, that's not a pedo, a good version of that divine masculine that is like a teacher, that's like a teacher, but can also be in the spiritual realm. So who's this for now?
Erin CC. I'm looking at her picture. I'm trying to wonder what she has on. It looks like some kind of futuristic thing she's wearing. That's cool. Like,
where does Erin live? I like to know where people are on the.
I'm not sure. Erin, what part of the country? I think she might be from Atlanta, Georgia, or somewhere around there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Atlantis, Georgia. Okay. Okay, well, I got that. Let's see what else I get for her then. So she's got the Emperor, which is the Wizard. And she's got 10 of Wands, which is a very strong spiritual connection and like a completion on some level. And going to another level, go out and connect in nature with the birds and put a water feature, because this has a bird bath, okay? If you put a water feature in your wealth corner in feng shui, if you can find out where your wealth corner is, which is a water feature, can be running water, preferably like a water fountain. That's supposed to help bring in wealth. That's my message to you.
Wow. I wonder, how do you find your wealth corner? How are you supposed to figure that out?
Out on your grid. Ron, can I show that new device online? Will you show me?
What?
You know what it is. Can I show it?
What?
The Tepaphone. Where is it?
Yeah.
Can you give it to me?
I'll have to go downstairs and get it.
Oh, okay. Okay. If not this time, it'll be on another show. We got something called the Tepaphone.
What is it? Can you tell us about it? It sounds interesting.
Tepaphone is something now that Joshua P. Warren puts out. It's a new manifestation device. We haven't tried it out yet. It's so new, but it's like the stealth version of wishing machines or radionics boxes, like on steroids, and it's small and easy enough to travel with.
Whoa, that's so cool. That is awesome. Like, holy shit, yeah.
Yeah. So if I don't show you this, I'll show you next time, because I think the next show we do, it'll be from Florida. It might be even from the cruise ship. I might be able to do it from when I'm on the ship, when I get back from the Keys, because I'll have coverage on the boat before it takes off, possibly.
Wow. We got one more person who wants a reading. Colleen. Curious Call. She goes by Curious Call, Colleen. She says here, could I get a reading as well? She says, I'm in Massachusetts. She's up there in New England Patriots land, Oh, thank you, Aaron, for donating. That was really nice of you, Aaron. Thank you.
Everybody remember to buy Rob some coffees and donate. It really helps him with this show. He needs a lot of donations, so that's great. Thank you.
It does help. Thank you. Like, yeah, that was nice. That was out of nowhere. I didn't expect her to send anything. And Colleen donated last show, so that was nice of Colleen. Thank you, Colleen.
Okay, this one is Beauty and the Beast, which I get is about loving the parts of ourself that we don't like, is what I'm hearing. as we look at this, or we don't have to like what's going on with what we see at all. It's not about liking that, but back to that, love your neighbor as yourself, and all that is you want to do no harm. You don't want to do harm to yourself either. You don't want to beat yourself up too much for anything. I'm going to pull something different because I don't know why I'm getting that. So let's get the higher octave of shadow clearing. Okay, so that's all about, that's about shadow clearing. And 8 of Wands, that's definitely more of a spiritual, eights are very spiritual. This is not a physical card. It's more to do with the spiritual, and the connecting to source. Okay, and the reproduction of a number 4, like 4 walls is an architecture. So 8 is the higher architecture of this. But I want to tell you about this. If you put the number 8 in your wallet, it helps with abundance. People say don't overdo the number, but put the number 8 in your wallet, and you won't not have any money. You'll have money. Even I don't know why I'm getting these things about money for people, but it's also for Rob and to support the show.
So you did Colleen, right? We got one more. Request.
She got the 4 of Wands too. It's funny because I said 8 of Wands and the lower architecture was the 4 of Wands. Well, I just happened to pick that. So the 4 and the 8. And then if you add the 4 and the 8 together is a 12, and you can work with that 12th dimensional shield architecture.
Wow, that's cool. This was a special request. This is from For Me to Be Me For. I love that name. For Me to Be Me For. He says, I'm guessing this is a guy, or maybe it's a woman. I don't know. She says, Missy, can you do an energy read for North Georgia mountains, general?
Is that where they are? I know the North Georgia mountains.
Well, that's where Aaron is, and that's where this person is. For Me to Be Me. So we got 2 people from Georgia in the house tonight. A lot of East Coast people. We got Georgia, Massachusetts. Yeah, right. Put in the chat. Where's everybody from tonight? Like, let's see where everybody's from. I'm from over here in Pittsburgh. Missy's down. And where are you at? South Carolina, North Carolina now, Missy?
Right now, I'm in Edisto Island, South Carolina, which is in the Charleston area. And you know what's really weird is I heard that there was some earthquakes. I haven't even gotten around to looking up where they were, but I get it's all tied to what's going on with that island, those islands. Yeah. Well, Little Red Cap is literally.
Have you seen the shows I do with this woman? She's interesting. She does plain astrology. She does. She was the one who was the flight attendant for the elites.
Which one? The one I see New Orleans, but I'm still on the Georgia mountains. So I got the Little Red Cap, Little Red Hood, 7 of Swords, and Child of Hearts. But what I'm seeing with the Georgia mountains, there is an energetic structure that is connecting in with Germany. Okay. It's called Helen, Georgia. It's a little, and there's areas around there, Anna Ruby Falls. There's some clearing that needs to happen there because there's something about Black Forest, Georgia energy that I'm getting that's connected where there's some negative things, sacrificial things that have happened in Georgia. There are Mayan ruins that are in Georgia because the Mayans made their way. Okay, she can go to the Etowah Mounds. There's the Etowah Mounds near Cartersville. It would be nice to possibly go to Amelicola Falls, which is the base of the Appalachian Trail is where that is. Tallulah Gorge is another interesting place. But all these places have, you know, good stuff as well as creepy stuff, especially Clayton, Georgia. I had a very, very weird experience in Clayton, Georgia, where I felt like I was getting actually sucked into the ground there. And I was in like a dream state, and I felt these people were going to try to get me to take me off planet somewhere and do something with me, because I knew people that owned cabins, and the man that the husband of the wife that was in the cabin business, he said that he had missing time experiences and alien abduction experiences. So yeah, there's quite a few things in the Georgia mountains. You know, there's Toccoa Falls, which is beautiful. Blairsville, I'd recommend. Oh, I'll tell you another place I love to go, Chattooga Lake, which is on the border of Georgia and going into North Carolina. So all these areas are like energy hotspots. Yeah, I hope that's helping her. But I get, if she wants to get like a charge up, go to Amalacola Falls or Anaruby Falls. And then there's Fort Mountain, Dillard, Georgia, which is near Sapphire Valley or Highlands, North Carolina. There's a labyrinth that I know that used to be there north of Dillard before you get into where the ski resort, or not the ski resort, the tubing place is as you go up into Highlands. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that.
There's that guy that would come on Coast to Coast. He's been on my show before. His name's Sandy Nichols. He has an Aztec burial site, and he lives in like Tennessee in his backyard. Have you ever heard of him? I don't know if you ever saw him on my show or on Coast to Coast. Sandy Nichols, and he has an Aztec burial site in his backyard. And I think he lives in Tennessee.
But I forgot about that. Also, the Bigfoot Museum is in Georgia too. It's about an hour from my aunt, and she lives in White, Georgia, but I can't remember the town. And it's interesting because not only is it Sasquatch stuff, but it has a lot of like David Paulides videos.
That's interesting. Like, yeah, that's holy shit. Yeah.
So who was the other person that brought up New Orleans?
Oh, that's Amy. I told you she comes on my show. She actually just gave me a super sticker. I'll give her a shout out here. That's Amy. She was a flight attendant for the elites, and she lives in New Orleans. She's down there where they're witnessing Mardi Gras. And she brought up an interesting fact, or someone brought up an interesting. No, you said this. I think last time we were on the show. For some reason, New Orleans got brought up, and you were telling me how the baby on the cake represents some kind of like human sacrifice, right?
Yeah, we're gonna do. We have to do a Mardi Gras show about the Mardi Gras king and queen. How that's another Wheel of the Year thing. Now that ties in with myth. Is it Mithras? I can't remember which god it ties into, but it's the whole thing of preparing for Lent. The Fisher King. It's like so many days after Christmas it has to be. Then there's the so many days of Mardi Gras. And then there's Fat Tuesday, which is the day before Ash Wednesday when they put the ashes on the head and, you know, all that stuff. Fat Tuesday is the Mardi Gras celebration. But what's interesting about like down in Louisiana is, you know, not just New Orleans, but they do the whole Mardi Gras trail, like going from Alabama all the way through Louisiana, even into Texas, like over to San Antonio. Because I remember that. And every rest stop, they would give you beads. But I know when I've remote viewed New Orleans before, I saw vampires under the ground because I know there's tunnels there. And I think Hurricane Katrina had something to do with that vampiric energy that definitely ties into the whole Epstein Island thing, as well as the gravitron machine and those pyramids that James Tiburon talked about that are in the Gulf of America or Mexico.
Yeah, well, man, you really know, so you really know a lot, Missy. You know a lot. Like, you have a lot of facts about stuff. I mean, it's amazing. Like, it really is. Like, I'm going through these comments.
You remember that song? I've been everywhere, man. I've been was that Willie Nelson? I've been everywhere, just like on the road again. I know that's Willie Nelson, but there was a song.
I've been everywhere, man. Oh, that was a Johnny Cash song. I've been everywhere.
Oh, that was Johnny Cash.
I know about the voice.
Yeah, that's right. I couldn't remember. I get all those guys confused. You know, there's a song that it's Chris Christopherson, Johnny Cash, and Willie Nelson, I think, and
oh, that's one of the Highwaymen. They made a group called the Highwaymen. It was kind of cool,
right.
You know. Yeah, that was. Yeah. I remember the Highwaymen. Yeah, I know all about that. Yeah,
that's like Art Bell.
They had a song called Highwaymen. It was on Art Bell. It was Art Bell used to play it.
Art Bell stuff, and that's like stuff we would listen to in the middle of the night when we were driving. So we've been everywhere. The only state that my cat Soda did not get to was Vermont, and we had both, Ron and I had been there before, but she made it to 47. My orange female tabby made it to 47 out of 48 states. Can you believe that?
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Shit. That's pretty amazing for a cat, you know. That's cool. Yeah,
that's Arthur's Arthur's ancestor in the etheric or whatever. His like spiritual.
Do you think Arthur is a reincarnated version of Soda? Do you think so?
Sort of, not exactly, but yeah, there's a connection there. It's like she is teaching him. It's like her soul is in him sometimes to teach him. And hopefully this is going to all be in that book if I can get it written. I had so many problems with the apps writing it. It's like it lost all my data. Oh, it's just so frustrating, Rom. I'm so frustrated with trying to write stuff. I got to go back to just writing it on paper. I think it's better. Write it down on paper, and then when it's all written on paper, then plug it in somewhere, because it's just a nightmare.
Yeah. We had one more request for a read. This is from, let me see here. Did we get Colleen Ryer too? I don't know. I don't know if we got Colleen Ryer. This is from Eric Pearson. He says, Rob, I'd like to read from Missouri. He says, I donated last night on PayPal during the Sean. He says, hope you got it. Yeah, okay, thanks, Eric. I probably did get it. Thank you, Eric.
Missouri grids, I tune into, you know, of course, St. Louis, where George Norrie's from, the St. Louis Arch, but also, you know, not just the Illinois side of Missouri, where those, what was those, Cahokia Indian mounds, you know, that area, but the southern part closer to Arkansas with those mountains. Okay. So let's see.
And while we're watching this, Colleen Rye, did we get your reading or not? Because if we didn't get your reading, I'll get you next. Like when you hear this, Colleen, let me know in the chat if we got your reading or not. Because I don't want to miss you. I felt bad. Like let me know if I got it or not. Yeah.
Well, going through a change and the death card, Sleeping Beauty, I'm getting this person. If you need a lot of sleep right now, if you're tired, that means you're going through upgrades. This one, the 9 of Hearts, that's about heart energy and expanding. 9 is about some kind of completion. It's a mermaid energy. But I feel if they're in Missouri, when it gets warm, go to the Ozarks and go connect with the lakes, because there is a lot of water there. And I think it's important to connect with the crystalline grids as well as the water grids, you know, of like where the Ozarks are, where there's lakes, if you can do that. But right now I'm getting about sleep, and I'll pull a third card to see if there's anything else that stands out. Woo, this is good. If you do those things and ask what you want and what you should be doing and what you shall be receiving, you've got Aladdin and the Magic Lamp, which is the Magician card. So the Magician card is all about manifesting. So manifesting, it looks like your time will come. Let's hope. in the spring, but rest now.
I love that for Eric. And we just have one more of it now. This is from Colleen. We forgot her, but yeah. And she didn't say where she was from. I don't wait. Maybe she did. Let me see if she said where she was from.
I like the 444. That's all about the architecture, and that connects with the 12.
Colleen also said she was going to switch over to the cryptid. Oh, sorry. She said she was going to switch over to the Cryptid Hunters, but this is too good, she says. I'm going to put that comment. But, like, I just want to say, I consider Jessica a good friend. I love Jessica Jones. Like, I met Jessica 2 years in a row at the Full Disclosure Now conference. I have nothing but love for the Cryptid Hunters. I love the Cryptid Hunters. She's awesome, So, by all means.
You know what? Snowy weather kept me from being on her show, but Barry Littleton was supposed to get me to be on her show, and I'm still trying to connect with Jessica. And I also want to get you. I might want to get you some guests on your show. If there's some people you want me to get, I know some people that might be good on your show. Guess what? 9 is important for this group tonight. 9 is about, the yin yang, because 6 goes one way, 9 goes the other. The kind of this yin-yang Ouroboros, but going beyond 9, because once you go to 9, the numbers start over again, right? Because it's 0 through 9, and then at 10, it's 1 plus 0. 11 is 2 1s. 12 is a 1 and a 3. So 9, a few people have gotten 9. So it's like number 9, the ending, and moving on to a higher level. So it's sort of like we want to take a leap. She also got Aladdin, which is that magician card too. But she also got 5 of crystals, and 5s are about change. But this one especially speaks to me because it's got the wood element, and I see like the gnome energy. So it's sort of about, does she have a connection to gnomes? It's something about working with art, working with wood, working with crystals, and doing something in nature where you can bring in this like fairy gnome energy and maybe be creative, and maybe something to do with that creativity of some kind of art, whether it's making jewelry, whether it's making sculptures, whether they do festivals. I don't know. All that stuff is gearing up in the spring, but maybe that's somewhere where the abundance is coming from.
Yeah, I love that. Let me see here. What? She just wanted to. She's from. She wanted to let you know she's from Portland, Oregon. So we got someone from the West Coast, and she said all the shows went by so fast today. Yeah, they did go by. I mean, but it's all. They wanted to call in. But I'll tell you what, guys. I'm probably gonna do.
When I tune into Oregon, I go to the Columbia River Gorge. Go to all those magnificently beautiful waterfalls in Oregon.
And there's something paranormal going on in the Columbia River Gorge too. There's a lot of anomalies there and stuff, for sure. Absolutely. That's a hot spot. Yeah. I'm trying to think if we have anything else to cover. There's a guy that comes on. Yeah, there's a guy that comes on my show. Yeah, he talks about the Columbia River Gorge. I can't remember his name. Oh man, this is gonna drive me nuts. Who is his name? I don't know. I totally.
And I pulled Sleeping Beauty again because we're all Sleeping Beauty. I know that. Sleep is like, I need a lot of it, and I can't always get it when I want, it's like, and we need it. We need sleep right now. Our physical body needs a lot of rest.
I'm trying to think. Well, I guess that's everything for today. Is there anything else you wanted to cover, Missy, before we go, or?
I think I'm good because I'm getting ready to go on this trip. And like I said, when I get down there, I mean, if anybody wants to get a hold of me before I leave, they're more than welcome. They can email me at Hill, Hill, Night, Nite, Vision, Vision @gmail.com, hillnightvision@gmail.com. Friend me on Facebook, friend me on Instagram. I'm on X, but I don't do anything there. And I guess I'll be broadcasting from the Florida grids next.
Yeah, well, let me know when you want to do a show, Missy. We'll do one from down there for sure. Yeah, and yeah, I'm all for it. All right, and thank you guys, and thank you. Have a happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And I'll probably do a call-in show tomorrow, so you guys can call in tomorrow. And
bye, love you
have a good
guys.
night.